Hey guys, welcome back. Takashi here, back with Crimson Gray, Dusk, and Dawn. So it seemed like things were, going pretty alright, but the music is certainly concerning. So let's get into it and see exactly why the music is like this. Lizzie had been having a good day until she went out to get their mail. It contained their usual financial statement from the college, which normally she looked at dutifully, but didn't particularly care about. Nothing was wrong, technically. Their account was in good order, and all the payments were as expected. What bothered her was that their debt had only changed by the usual amount. John had been working so much more. Shouldn't it have gone down? Okay. Let me call it here. He's earning all this extra money. It's not being used to pay for the debt. What do y'all think it's being paid for? Huh? Huh? Right? Starts with an M, ends with a erage, right? Maybe, just maybe. To be sure she wasn't making a mistake, Lizzie went to find their previous statement in a box with the others, since John was always so organized. So everything was just as she remembered. Odd. Chewing on her lower lip, Lizzie began looking around their house, checking alternative possibilities. The cash they kept at home was about the usual. There hadn't been any expenses she neglected to consider, and no mid-semester textbooks. You know, a surprise, surprise savings for this kind of thing I would typically say it's a good thing, but John, you know how Lizzie is. You know her obsession. You know her intellect. You know she has the ability to go through all these things and find these things out, and that it would concern her. So it's probably best not to keep secrets from her, even if it is to surprise her, just because it could be dangerous. Um, so I mean, I hope it turns out happy, but yeah, I would. It might end up leading to something in between. So, well, I mean, I guess let's just see. All right, so let's see. Did I already? Yeah, I read this one, right? Yeah, so there we go. She's got that concern going on, the cash, and there hadn't been any expenses she neglected to consider. Then where had the money gone? Her first thought was a fear that they had been robbed somehow. The second, that the university was cheating them. But she discarded both of those quickly, as they would have had other consequences before now. That left the possibility that John was intentionally hiding something from her. Slowly sinking into the couch, Lizzie chewed one of her fingers and rolled her knife around her other hand. An exercise that was usually soothing, but not this time. There was the possibility that he wanted to buy something for himself. He hadn't had his own computer for the game. Maybe it was that. But if that was true, why wouldn't he have mentioned it to her? Did he think that she would ever deny him anything? It was possible that he was gathering it for some kind of emergency. Or even to leave. No, surely not. She couldn't live without him, and her John would never do such a thing. But if not, why? Why? Realizing there was blood trickling down her finger, Lizzie removed it from her mouth. She paused a moment, stilling her knife. Then took a deep breath. So, this is Lizzie we're talking about, so letting it go, I don't think that'll actually happen. I think it'll just eat her away. Confront John about it, that sounds aggressive. So we're not going to do that. Ask John about it. Investigate. I don't think there's any need to go behind her back. I am worried that when she asks John about it, he may not tell her. But I'm hoping he'll realize, again, this is Lizzie we're talking about. Asking is the right choice. So let's pick that option and see where it goes. Lizzie gripped her knife and firmly set aside all her doubts. Her John would never do anything to hurt her. She got up and began preparing dinner for them, though her knife moved a little more forcefully than usual. When she finally heard his footsteps, Lizzie eagerly dropped her knife and ran to fling the door open. Welcome home, John. Why, you're in a good mood. She pulled him inside and into her embrace, which he returned warmly. Once they had the door closed behind them, though, Lizzie let some of her concern show. John, I hope this is just a silly fear, but I wanted to talk to you about it. Do we have some kind of financial problem? Do you know you could share anything with me, right? His eyes widened, then he gave a ruthful smile. God, I'm sorry. I was planning a happy surprise for you. But I guess I should have known you might get worried over it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. 100% knew it. And you may be saying, okay, well, if you knew it, then why didn't you just let it happen again? I'm thinking Lizzie doesn't just drop things, okay? I'm thinking that choice doesn't make sense. I don't think she would actually do it, so I prefer her to just go ahead and ask him about it. I know it ruins the surprise, but again, I think it's for the best. A surprise? The money from all the extra shifts? It's for a surprise? I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I called it! Let's go to the wedding. Alright. I've been saving funds for our wedding. Ah, see, there we go, the aura again. Yep. Her heart soared. She had been right to trust him, absolutely right. Though she didn't understand why he had kept it a secret, she was certain that he would explain, and, of course, her John would have a good explanation. Oh, John, that's wonderful. John moved further and sat down, drawing her with him onto the couch. After all the unnecessary tension dragging her down, now she was elated. Though she gave John a huge smile, the way his eyes lingered on hers suggested that the tension was visible on her face. I've been planning this for quite a while. After high school, you were nervous. A wedding would go wrong somehow, so I didn't try then. As time went on and you seemed less worried about it, but by then we already had our college debt. I started thinking about how I talked about money a lot, and I wondered if you wanted to get married, but felt that you couldn't ask because of money. So I decided to save up a decent amount. Then I could ask you and show that the money would be no concern. Oh, you didn't need to be concerned about that, John. Not at all. I'm just so happy. Let me know if you have any concerns, Lizzie. I'm grateful you helped support me, but I want to support you too. Oh, part of me wants to get married right away, but we shouldn't rush. We should make sure everything is perfect. Yeah. That will be something we can talk about. Actually, let me get the money. No, since keeping it in a packet now. No sense keeping it in a packet now. Wait, let me hold you longer first. So wholesome. See, you guys may not have known this about Yandere, but it can be wholesome too, okay? Look, it doesn't have to just be stabby, murder, alright? Look, it can be nice too, and that's why I really like Crimson Grey. It's probably, of all the ones I've done so far, my favorite. I did really enjoy some of the others, especially the Killer Love one, but that one, the story was kind of wild and a little less... It felt like a little less grounded in reality. Especially the plot twist was kind of wow, okay, crazy, you know. Whereas this one, yes, it does definitely have supernatural elements to an extent, but it's more like sci-fi elements, I guess, than supernatural in that sense. Because like Koi Tech, yeah, I'd say it's more sci-fi. So yeah, again, I really just like how grounded it is, and also how it explores the emotion in a way that it's like, oh no, she's not just crazy. I mean, she is crazy. Don't get me wrong, she's crazy, but she has, you know, normal human elements as well mixed in, which I can really appreciate. Lizzie threw herself at him cheerfully, and he was glad to hold her. She nestled against his chest, imagining their wedding. Soon Lizzie realized that their imagination was only the beginning. The two of them could discuss all their wedding plans now. She pulled back and beamed at him again. So many decisions to make. Where do we start? Well, do you still want me to get down on one knee and propose? It, feels kind of weird given everything, but I wasn't sure if you'd appreciate the gesture. 3 years ago, I think I would have said yes. But now, I don't think it really matters. We both already know that we want to get married. And as for the romantic gesture, I already have lots of romantic memories. Like you helping me clean up all those bodies. Oh. No better romantic gesture than helping clean up bodies. Am I right, guys? Truly, truly romantic. Oh my god, it's the fact that John can smile genuinely about that just like tells you how close he is with Lizzie. And that got a chuckle from him, which had been her goal. She meant it, though. John wasn't like her, and he could have been scared, but he had helped her and accepted her, even after seeing everything that she was capable of. Compared to that, the fantasy of him going down on one knee didn't seem to matter. Getting married, though, she still wanted that, and all the memories that went with it. Lizzie put her hand on his knee eagerly. Okay, you were probably thinking about all kinds of plans and details, right? How close are we? Well, that depends. It doesn't cost much to just get married at the courthouse, but I imagine you wanted more than that. The price of the weddings is ridiculous. The price of most weddings is ridiculous. But I've been looking into ways to avoid the worst costs. They inflate prices for weddings, you see. John explained everything he'd been considering, making it clear just how much research he had done. She agreed with him on almost everything. They didn't need a lot of stupid expensive things for their wedding, just the things that really mattered, which quickly came down to a small list. I looked into renting a tux, but it was actually a little more expensive than I expected. Is the suit fine? I'm sure you will look wonderful. But I assume you want a unique dress, right? Yes. It doesn't have to be expensive, but I want something that can remind me of the wedding. There are people in town that make dresses for less than I thought. I'll introduce you, and you can choose whatever you want. Okay. She didn't need a fancy dress. In fact, the idea of choosing all the little details appealed less than the role the dress would play in creating the perfect moment. But it was such a nice idea that she didn't even mind having to talk to someone else about it. I remember you saying how pictures were important to you. So I've looked into photographers. It's more expensive than I thought, but I didn't think we'll need them for long. No, probably not, John. We haven't talked about it, about if we're going to invite anyone to our wedding. His expression became more serious, though, and not sad. He nodded slowly. Yes, we need to talk about that. Setting aside everything except what you want, how many people do you want at our wedding, Lizzie? 2. I'm guessing you don't mean the All that matters is the 2 of us, John. We don't need anyone else. That does simplify things, and since we don't want much of a service, that means we don't need to reserve the venue for as long either. John, do you agree with me? How many people do you want at our wedding? He paused for a moment, but she didn't see any fear in his eyes. He reached out to take her hand, and Lizzie gave it an encouraging squeeze. Honestly, I wish we could have a few people, but right now there's no one I really want to invite. I mean, we have some friends, but... Lizzie considered thoughtfully, but both his words and the implication beneath them. So there's no problem for the wedding. But in the future, do you need more people? You'll always be the only one for me, Lizzie. You do know that, right? Of course, John. She embraced him again, Beaming, in fact. She decided to just stage raped against him while he did a quick total on a sheet of paper and showed it to her. So this is our total so far. Pretty manageable, but we haven't talked about rings yet, which could be really expensive. Nope, I don't want any diamonds. Huh? Really? I mean, the rings will be something we actually wear for the long time, and I figured diamonds are traditional. Diamonds are only valuable because of a monopoly. We learned all about it in one of my classes. They're the kind of thing that normal, stupid people think are special. We're much more special than that. Yep. Yep. So, yeah, I could 100% agree with that. I mean, again, if people want to get diamond rings, that's all for them. But personally, I think you're being swindled by the diamond companies. Because again, I think yes, everything technically only has value based on what we place on it. But if the value of diamonds is supposed to be based on rarity, well, it's not rare. So, yeah. I would personally say that, a traditional gold ring would be fine. Yes, technically, gold's also based on rarity and all that, but it's not like gold isn't being held in the same way diamonds are. So, gold should be a pretty safe bet, and it's a lot less expensive than buying a diamond ring, just a simple gold ring. Simple. It's still gold, but you know what I mean. Since Sean wasn't objecting, Lizzie hopped and ran to get her notebook. She returned with it, flipping the pages rapidly to get to the one she wanted. I remember that page. Is it actually about rings? Yes. I didn't draw any designs, but I've been thinking about materials. At first I thought about high-grade steel, but the thing about steel is different grades are different for different uses. The idea of using knife steel was kind of nice, but I realized that it was the wrong material. Our relationship is much more durable than that. Smiling, John put an arm around her and sat back, just enjoying listening to her enthuse about the subject. For a while, I was thinking of having tungsten carbide rings, because it was such a good hardness rating, but tungsten is brittle and impacts can break it, and that's nothing like our relationship at all, so I decided that titanium might be the best after all. It's a little more common, but it would be strong, and I'd be so happy to see us wearing them. Hey, titanium rings. Alright. I like it. It's definitely different. I definitely like it. And like I said, probably a lot less expensive than gold. It doesn't matter if it's common. What matters is that they're the rings we want. Titanium rings are fine with me. Also, titanium is much lighter, and while it probably wouldn't make too much difference, I don't want my ring to slow me down at all. Oh my goodness, Lizzie. Oh, she's so practical even about this. You've obviously thought this through. Well, that seems better in all respects, because that means we don't need to pay nearly as much. In fact, we're pretty close to our total. Getting the reservation might be the harder part. That's okay, I can wait. She simultaneously wanted to be married right away, and wanted to be able to enjoy this anticipation forever. But one thing she had learned with John was that the anticipation of the things often paled in comparison to the thing itself. So she was eager for the wedding. That just improved the anticipation, though. Alright, so that's a perfect point to end the episode, and really, what a great episode. Certainly the music at the beginning was worrying, but it turned out that we were, correct. I assume you guys probably thought the same thing when you saw that he was saving money, so I'll say we there. Correct about him actually saving for the wedding, the marriage, right? So that's really exciting there, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that does mean that the game is probably nearing its conclusion, but we got a lot of good experiences from it. We Got to see a lot of fun stuff. So looking forward to the ending, and then of course from there we'll carry on with new adventures. We'll find new games to give out a try and to give a chance. Anyhow, guys, once again, thank you so much for making this far. If you did make it this far, I take it that you did enjoy. So if you are not already subscribed, please do click that subscribe button so you can see more of me and I can see more of you in the comment section below. Once again, if you have any thoughts about the episode or just, want to say something in general, put it in the comment section below and let's have a conversation. Once again, guys, much love. Yours truly, Mtakashi. Laters.